Alright, for today's tutorial we got a few interesting little pieces, some unique abilities that you're going to have that's going to allow you to basically become Superman. So what we're going to be showing today, we got the laser eye, we have frost breath, of course a flying cape to fly like Superman. You have special effects you're going to get when you have all three of these items, as well as Kryptonite, your only weakness. That way you're not quite as invincible as you could be. Everyone knows Superman has his weaknesses, so here's a little thing you can kind of throw in there and make things interesting. Now to start out, we have laser vision. Now this looks really daunting. There's a lot of different command blocks here. I promise you, it's not that difficult because most of these commands are just pretty much exactly the same. So we're going to start off right here. It's going to play a beacon sound whenever you are holding an Eye of Ender in your main hand. This is what kind of gave me the laser sound that you heard when I was using the laser eyes. We're only going to have one of these commands. It's just sitting by itself, and there's no tick delay. Next, we have these three large chain commands, which, like I said, was kind of scary at first. I promise you, it's not that bad. So, right here, we have the very first command. This is going to add the particles for the laser effect. So, you can see right here, it's going to be checking for the Eye of Ender in your main hand. If so, it's going to go up a little bit, and it's going to put a particle basically in front of your face and a little bit to the right. This is going to give you one particle of the eye. And then if we look at the chain right beside it, it's literally the exact same, except this is a negative 0.2. Now this is the second chain. This is a different repeating command block, just to be clear. Let's go back to the first one. This is what it looks like. Now, if we go to the next one in the chain, it is exactly the same command, except it's a 2 right here instead of 1. Next one, guess what? 3. The one after that, exact same command, 4 this time, however. And after that, 5. Now you kind of get the idea. It goes all the way up. I will show you all of them, just so you guys don't get too confused. I'm going to go real quick though. It's exactly the same. You're just adding that last number. This is going to add a particle, a block out each time. So this is going to give your laser eyes up to a range of 10. If you basically just expand this chain, it's going to, make your laser eyes have an even longer range to you. If you guys want to do that, you're more than welcome to. This chain is exactly the same, except we have the negative 0.2 right here. Once again, it's the same. We're adding up this last one. Like I said, we're still at a negative in this first number, but we're adding up this second number, the 3 now, the 4. I'm going to briefly show all of these just so some people who are new to commands don't kind of get confused, but I'm going to go very quickly because it's not super interesting. Up to 8, 9, and 10. That's going to add the particles for both your eyes, so it looks like it's actually coming out of your eyes with this laser vision. Like I said, you can just keep adding to this chain. You just keep basically adding one number to the last number, and that's going to expand the range of your laser vision to basically as high as you want it to be. Now, beside that, we of course have to give it damage. Now this kind of looks like a lot of text here, but I promise you it's not that different from the last commands that you saw. Basically what we're doing here, exactly the same. We have an Ender Eye checking in your hand. If so, it's going to run a damage command a little bit in front of your face. It's going to damage anything within a 1 block radius of a block in front of your face. That's not a player. It's going to do 8 damage and is going to come from the nearest player holding an Eye of Ender. Now, as you can probably guess, this command is exactly the same except for one number difference. And that is right here in the middle of the command. You see this too. Exactly the same. And guess what? Exactly the same up here, except we have a 3. You guys could probably start seeing the pattern. However, once we get to 4, you're going to notice something different. Right here, we don't have type equals player. I'll show you what the last one looked like, just so you guys can get an idea. You can see after the word damage, we have radius of 1, type equals not a player. When we get to 4, you can just remove the part about the player. The reason is, this way you're not going to accidentally hurt yourself with the laser vision, but once you kind of get past a certain distance, where you're at the range where you couldn't hurt yourself with the laser vision, then you could start damaging other players. That way this is going to work for PvP. From there on out, like I said, we're not adding the type equals players. It's the same thing. We have right here 5. Remember the last one was 4. You can scroll to this one. And basically you guys, like I said, you'll get the pattern. You literally just adding one number. It's not too difficult. We're at 7. Just show them all just so you guys can all see them. 8, 9, and 10. Another thing to note, the only thing I'm gonna mention as the last thing for laser vision is this number right here after the @ER equals 1 or @E-type equals something or whatever. If you want to change the damage of the laser vision, change this number. If you want to do more damage, bump it up. If you want to do less damage, lower this number. But if you guys kind of want to mess around, experiment, this is the number you want to change to make your laser vision stronger or weaker, depending on whatever you want to do with it. Now that's the biggest command block creation of all these things, but I mean, it's worth it. Come on, it's laser vision. Alright, and moving on. Frost Breath. So, a lot smaller. As you can see, this is pretty similar to the laser eyes, except what this is doing is it's putting snowflake particles kind of in front of your face, a little bit lower, and you can see there's some kind of weird offset because of the way that this command works. The particle itself isn't focused in the center. It's kind of weird. You just got to do this number and it'll look fine. Don't even worry about it. So this one's going to be exactly the same command, except right here we have a 2. And right here we have 3. Now we're only going out to 3 because, you know, Frost Breath doesn't really have as long of a range. And like I said, really this is very similar to the laser eye vision. It's the same thing. It's just a has item and putting a particle in front of your face. Now similar to laser vision, we also want to put a sound there. So very similarly, we have a checking for the ice that's in your hand. If so, it's going to play the Trident Riptide sound. It's going to kind of slow the sound down so it sounds like you have this heavy frost breath. And you can hear that when you're actually using it. And another thing to note is that this command specifically is on a 5-tick delay. All of those are still at 0, like normal. Now, we also want to add damage, of course, so very similar to the laser eyes. We're doing a little bit different. We have a radius of 3, so it's kind of hitting a larger radius. So this is like a closer range weapon that can kind of hit a large group of people. This number right here, this 6, if you want to do more damage, if you bump this number up. If you want to do less damage, turn it down. This is how you change the damage, depending on how you guys want to balance this or whatever you guys want to do. I recommend you play around with this number because it kind of makes it really fun when you change this number specifically. And last but not least, we also want to add slowness. So basically, whenever you hit something with your Frost Breath, it's going to be pretty much frozen in place for 10 seconds with this command. So it's a very similar command to what you saw in the last one. Basically, it's just going to add a slowness effect to anything in front of your face whenever you're using the Frost Breath ability. Now, I've done flying a few times on this channel, which is why I like to do something kind of different each time that I do it. So, you guys probably saw in the intro, the Cape of Flight. You're basically going to, whenever you want to go forward, you look in the direction you want to go, and then you hold out your cape and you'll go really fast in that direction. If you want to turn, you have to stop holding it and you'll freeze in place. You'll get slow falling, and the slow falling is going to basically disappear as soon as you land. So the way that we do that is we have this TP command. Basically, it's going to check, are you holding a banner in your hands? If so, and it's also checking the data of 1, which means it's red. If so, it's going to teleport you forward, and it's going to put true. That way you can't go through blocks. And on a chain, exactly the same command. And guess what? Same command again. The reason that we're doing this in 3 separate commands instead of just 1 and turning the teleport distance up higher, this is going to allow you to go faster, but also not go through like 1 block thick gaps, which you might not happen if you have like a longer distance of commands. You know, you could go through blocks. This prevents you from doing that, as well as allows you to go pretty fast. Now, other than that, what we're doing here is we are checking if you're holding the cape in your hand, it's going to add the tag flying to you. If you have the tag flying, it's going to give you slow falling. And basically, if the block below you is not air, it's going to remove the tag flying. That way you won't always have slow falling, and you'll see as soon as I use this, the slow falling goes away after I land. It'll linger for about a second, but then it goes away. So the last thing you might notice is that I currently have strength and resistance. So the way we're doing that is these two commands. If I have all three of these items, and I'll see I drop it, my abilities went away. So if I have all three of the Superman abilities, I'm also going to get some bonus abilities. So this is going to give me pretty heavy resistance, and the other one is going to give me pretty heavy strength. And the way we're doing this is we're using has item. I don't know if I've shown this in a video, but if you want to check for multiple items within a single selector, this is how you do it. You have the word has item, and then you have some brackets, and then you have the different items separated by commas. Another thing is we're using braces, not parentheses. Don't use parentheses or this is not going to work. Never use parentheses in commands. Additionally, these are commas, not periods. Alright, and those are basically your special effects. Now for the Kryptonite. I don't think I haven't shown you guys the effects yet. Kryptonite is, of course, Superman's biggest weakness. So basically, if there is an entity holding Kryptonite near Superman, we're going to get a lot of bad effects. We're going to get slowness, we're going to get mining fatigue, nausea, weakness, so we're not really going to be able to hit anything. We're going to be punching really slow, we're going to be moving really slow, and we're going to be really dizzy. And basically, it's if there is any entity near you that is holding Kryptonite anywhere in their inventory, you're going to get all these bad effects. Additionally, if the item named Kryptonite is anywhere near you, you're still going to get all these bad effects. Even when I move out of range, they're still going to linger for a few seconds. If you are Superman, you don't want to get near this Kryptonite. It's going to be really damaging. But if you're in PvP, somebody has all the Superman abilities, you can use Kryptonite to basically be really devastating to them. So I'm going to get rid of this Kryptonite because it is going to bug me. Let's show you how it works. Once I can, hold on, I'll get it. So basically what we're doing here is we are executing at an item named Kryptonite. We have these little symbols to represent that it is colored. If you are not able to do this text, you can simply delete this part, just have Kryptonite. You can make this name whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. And basically it is going to give an effect to anything that has all three of those items. It's going to give them weakness. This command exactly the same, except we're going to give them nausea. This command is pretty much the same except for slowness. We also changed these numbers real quick so it's not as extreme. And up here, once again, same thing except mining fatigue. This number is a little bit different, so it's not as extreme, but otherwise exactly the same. Commands over here are very similar. This is going to be basically checking if there's an entity that's holding the Kryptonite, so this could be another player, or if you're using commands, you could give it to a mob, and that way if you kind of want to have a certain kind of mob that's really strong against Superman, you can do that. And basically, it's going to be very similar commands. If there's an entity that has slime anywhere in their inventory near Superman players, they're going to get weakness, they're going to get nausea, they're going to get slowness, and they're going to get mining fatigue. Basically, that's about it. There's a lot of different abilities here. I hope you guys have a lot of fun doing these, messing around with them, and I hope you guys can kind of practice changing them a little bit, kind of making them how you want it to be, because that's really the best way to learn. Anyways, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to leave them in the comments. I do try to respond to the comments. However, it's a lot easier if you guys join my Discord because there's a lot of people on there other than just me that are able to help you. They're very experienced with commands. They're very helpful people. Additionally, you can kind of send screenshots. It makes troubleshooting a lot easier. And yeah, enjoy.